Lesson 6, Alien Races, Part 2. Welcome back, my friends. Let's dive right into it. First and foremost, we're going to be talking about the Sirian race. This is a benevolent species of aliens. They have two known planets that this race comes from, the first being Sirius A, also known as the dog star. This relates to their race very well because this species has been known to appear more wolf reptilian-like, but they can also have cat-like features. Their ancestors who created this star race were actually cat-wolf-like creatures who genetically engineered the Sirian race. However, on Sirius B, the planet is mostly water, and it's inhabited by mostly water creatures. This includes dolphins, whales, and even mermaids. The Sirian race is one of the most mystical types of aliens due to the fact that they have a diversity within the Sirius star system. They have many inhabited producing planets with a wide diversity of alien races. They operate diamond-shaped crafts, and their agenda is to overall guide, protect, and provide healing. So the appearance of Sirians, some can appear to be a mixture of both reptilian and dog-like, but some appear to have more cat-like features. But both male and female tend to have dark, red, or golden manes. We can also see depictions of this race within the Sumerian tablets. So let's go into some of the Sirian starseed traits and see if you resonate with any of them. Sirian starseeds usually have a simple approach to life. They love spirituality and are very intelligent. They are very confident in themselves and their own intuition. I feel like these Sirian starseeds possess that like Leo energy. If you know anything about the different astrological signs, Leos are very confident. Some people say that they're self-absorbed, and I feel like this starseed definitely has that aspect. But don't take it in a negative aspect. Think of it as almost humorous, and honestly, I bet a lot of us wish that we could adapt more of that confidence. Sirian starseeds are very calm in nature, and they have a very long fuse. It takes a lot to get them angry. They thrive when it comes to stability, and they have a fascination for the fantasy genre. Whether that being books, movie, video games, you name it, they just love the fantasy genre. Sirian starseeds often tend to first come off a bit shy, and that's mostly because they are very quick to analyze others. So they mostly remain quiet at first because they are just checking out your energy and your vibe. Sirian starseeds love the outdoors, and most of them either already have a job working outside or they really desire to constantly be working in nature. They also are highly creative. Sirian starseeds feel this unexplainable connection to ancient Egypt, and you might even feel like you've been there before or have an extreme desire to visit Egypt, and that is because Sirians are very much tied into ancient Egypt. Sirian starseeds are very mystical, and this is because they are the most mystical and elemental out of all the other starseed types. You may have prophetic dreams and even visions and premonitions. Like you may have like a dream, or you may just like get like a channeling of like a vision, and you'll like get like deja vu all the time because you've already seen like what is to happen. That's very freaking cool. Sirian starseeds absolutely love artwork, and I mean all forms of art. This can be, paintings, but it also can be like novels, movies. Just the expression of creativity is so important to Sirian starseeds. So let's dive into the Lyran race of aliens. These are benevolent beings, and they're quite complex. There's actually quite a diversity in appearance and behavior. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right in. Lyrans were some of the first humanoid civilization to go outside of their galaxy, and they actually eventually reached Earth. The Lyrans were a cat-like humanoid species that played with their own DNA and genetically engineering. They created a subspecies of the Lyrans. These ancient Lyrans were present here on Earth, and we know them as titans or giants. The humans on Earth loved them, but they also feared them, almost like a child sees an authoritative parent. Lyrans are determined, intelligent, loyal, and compassionate, strong beings. Their lifespan is around 1,000 Earth years, and they mostly exist in the 7th dimension. Lyran's UFO is usually a ring-like shaped, similar to a donut. Their home planet was called Avion and was located within the Lyra constellation, but sadly it was destroyed in the Orion Wars. Their shadow aspects can be similar to ours. They can express being manipulative, vindictive, and they can even be controlling and suppress others, even to a point of slavery. They can be ego-centered, gullible, and even narcissistic. Lyrans have many races within their civilization, just like us. Like mentioned previously, they have a giant species, a dark-skinned humanoid species, bird species, and also even a cat-like species. Their overall agenda is observing us, and they're very neutral. So let's go into the difference of appearance within the Lyrans. We're going to be going over what the Lyran giants looked like. We're going to be going over the cat species, the bird species, and the dark-skinned species. So let's get into that. Starting off with the cat Lyrans. These are mammal humanoids, possessing the head of a feline with a humanoid body. They are very tall, ranging from 12 to 16 feet. They have large cat eyes and with a second lid. They aren't necessarily covered in fur, but they possess more of like a peach type fuzz, and that protects their skin from the ultraviolet radiation on their indigenous planet. They were very involved with ancient Egypt, and we can actually see depictions of them in ancient Egyptian drawings and hieroglyphs. The giants, most of the giants or titans had Caucasian skin. They had light-colored eyes and variations of hair color, but prominently these giants had red or strawberry blonde hair. Some of these titans could have even been of the smaller side, ranging around 8 to 10 feet, but mostly were taller, closer to 12 to 16 feet. This makes sense because the feline Lyrans created this subspecies, and like I said before, they were very tall. The dark-skinned Lyrans are human in height, and they have brown or green eyes. They have many variations of brown-colored hair, and they are definitely human in overall appearance. The bird Lyrans, this species has a very angular shaped face that is sharp and resembles a bird. Their eyes are bird-like, and their hair is similar to feathers. This species considers themselves as the scientists, explorers, and philosophers. They have visited us here on Earth, and they had a huge influence on Sumeria and ancient Egypt, but they tend to stay out of the galactic politics. So let's now go into some of the traits and aspects of a Lyran starseed. Lyran starseeds are very drawn to the metaphysical. They have a great love for food and drink, and they tend to be the partying version of starseeds. Lyran starseeds definitely love to push their limits and challenge themselves. So if ever you feel like, there's something that seems a bit fearful, or even if you're just like in a workout and you push yourself, you want to see what your limitations are, you might be a Lyran starseed. Like I said, with that fearless nature, you pursue your dreams and goals fearlessly. You don't give an F about it. You're going for that dream, baby, and nothing's gonna stop you. Lyran starseeds actually don't mind work. They actually enjoy it. So these starseeds really like to work hard. They don't mind the grind at all. They probably were the ones that actually created Every Day I'm Hustling. Lyran starseeds love interacting with other human beings, and they definitely tend to enjoy the communication aspect, but they're also definitely analyzing others. And this isn't like in a judgmental way, it's more for their like intellectual experience. They are highly intellectual, and I mean like a trivia master. They are natural healers, and Lyran starseeds might actually have multiple lovers, and this is just because they love love. They love to give love, they love to feel love, however, they really struggle with commitment. These starseeds have such strong manifesting powers. It's insane. Like most people would be like manifesting something and it could take 6 months to a year. These guys can get it done within a week. And lastly, what's very interesting about the Lyran starseeds is that they have no trouble adapting to life here on planet Earth, and that's mostly because their home planet was destroyed. So they don't necessarily have like this calling and this longing to go home like a lot of the other starseeds. And honestly, it is very sad that your home planet was destroyed, but it's also a blessing because a lot of the other starseeds really struggle with depression because they just have this longing to go home, and it's very hard for them to adjust to the social standards and the systems that are here on Earth. So see this as a blessing, my friends. So now we're going to be talking about the vegan alien race. I know, right? Vegans, and I don't mean the diet. We're going to be talking about vegan alien race, and this is a benevolent species. The vegans are a peaceful and gentle race that are actually refugees from the Orion and Lyran wars. They reside near Wolf 424 in the Pleiades. Their lifespan is around 2,000 Earth years, and their UFO craft is shaped like a ring or a donut, similar to the Lyrans. Both the vegans and the Lyrans were instrumental in how the rest of the galactic family expresses itself genetically. They were one of the Lyrans' first civilization to develop a unique, cohesive identity. This aided in the seeding or colonizing of many star systems, including both Sirius and Orion. Vegans are very creative, and they pair this with their intellectual expression. Their vocations can resemble designers, artists, inventors, and even architects. They are great healers, and they love being of service to others. They are practical and nurturing, and some of their shadow aspects are being secretive, aloof, manipulative, closed off, but self-absorbed, materialistic, and codependent. Just keep in mind, those are just like shadow aspects. That's not how they are all the time. The vegans' agenda is overall to guide and protect. Let's talk about their appearance because I absolutely love this. Vegans are dark-skinned humanoids. They are about 6 to 7 feet tall with tough, thick skin in order to withstand the ultraviolet radiation from their planet. They have large, dark eyes that are generally angled with very, very white outsides to the iris and pupil. This is so cool. They have green blood, and I find that to be very fascinating. There are some non-human looking vegans, and their appearance can appear to be more reptilian or even insect-like. So now let's go into some of the starseed traits of the vegan starseed. Vegan starseeds love helping others, and they find incredible fulfillment in working with specifically children and those who are just in need of a little extra assistance. You may feel a little bit too responsible for others to a fault. So you might feel like, maybe in your family, someone really struggles with making money and you feel like it is your job to make money for them. And sometimes this can, cause a lot of guilt within you as well. You have great healing abilities, and I mean stronger than any of the other starseeds. You are especially drawn to crystals and gemstones. So have you ever, been in a shop or maybe at a store and you see some crystal jewelry and you're just like, oh my God, like you're just like so drawn to crystals. And I just kind of like see like a kid being like drawn to something like shiny and sparkly. You guys just are obsessed with crystals. Vegan starseeds really value their alone time, and this is because of the energy that you tend to exert, giving off these, healing abilities and also constantly helping and assisting others. So my friends, now we're going to be talking about the reticular greys, and this is a malevolent species of alien. The Greys' overall agenda is to find a home of their own and also to figure out how to save their species. And they tend to think that the way they're going to do that is by hybridizing with us humans, and they are most definitely doing this without our consent. These Greys are the iconic looking alien. Large heads with big black eyes. They are about 3 feet tall with spiny bodies, and they have grayish colored skin. They have 3 long fingers, but some actually do have 5, and they even might have webbing between their fingers. Now, there are actually different types of greys. So we're talking about the reticular greys, and I just don't want you to get confused with the tall greys, because the tall greys are actually a benevolent race. The reticular greys exist in the 4th dimension, but some are actually evolving into the 5D. They came from Zeta binary star system, and that's about 39 light years from Earth. They are more technologically advanced than us, and apparently the Greys had a similar civilization as we do now, but they went down a path of self-destruction. Let's hope that we're not going to be like them. These Greys are the aliens responsible for most of the human abductions. Their purpose is to save their species from extinction, and they believe they can achieve this by harvesting the human soul. So they abduct humans, perform experiments on them, and sadly, many of these humans are children. They have abducted over 250,000 humans and brought them back to their home planet. They hardly ever return the humans because they like to stockpile them. Those that do not survive the experimentations that are performed are usually given to their colleagues, which are the reptilians, and the reptilians use humans as a food source. Nicolay from the Matrix Disclosure states that Greys think of us as we would a chicken farm, brimming with genetic material they can't wait to get their hands on. It's really important to note that the Greys possess no soul, so they don't have any guilt about their evil actions towards us. They also have no interest in spirituality whatsoever, so they don't possess like a moral compass like we do. I believe that the Greys are abducting so many human beings so that they can actually harvest human souls, which I don't think that they've ever been successful in doing, because we are a unique, beautiful species and no one can take our soul without our consent. But still, the Greys believe that if they can adapt a soul for themselves, that they can actually save their own species. So I'm sure you're asking the question just like I did. How is all this possible? Why haven't they been stopped? Well, what's disturbing is that our US government agreed to this when they actually signed a treaty with the Greys. They signed this treaty back in 1933, possibly even earlier than that, agreeing to exchange humans for technology. This treaty was fully established by the Illuminati societies in 1933. So this treaty could have existed even before 1933. All we know is that it was fully established through the Illuminati Society in 1933. I just want to go over some of the positive aspects of the Greys, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit more of their shadow aspects, even though I feel like, oh my gosh, I feel like they're all shadow. But we try to look at all beings with a tinge of white light so that we can see the good in all. So some of their positive aspects are that they are very detail-oriented and very organized. They are logical and analytical, which I'm sure aids in creating their advanced technology. The shadow aspects are that they are emotionless, they are cold, unkind, they're very narrow-minded, they possess no individuality, and they have a hive mentality, which I personally find to be very frightening. And the fact that they're working with the draconian reptilians is just, it's very scary. So I would say if ever you come in contact with a gray alien, meaning that they are the short grays, then I would definitely run away from that. And if you can't run, then I would definitely suggest protecting yourself. So let's end this chapter on a positive note, and let's talk about a benevolent species called the Umites. What is so cool about the Umites is that this is technically not an alien species. They are humans, but they don't really live here on Earth. So let's talk about them. Their agenda is to share technological information to provide the Earth with global education and assist the Andromedans in extracting all ET activity from Earth. The Umites are advanced humans working closely with the vegans. They reside near Wolf 424 star system, located about 14.2 light years away from the Sun. I discovered that the Umites first found Earth through radio signals given out by the US in February of 1934. The Umites officially visited us in the 60s and were mostly working with Spanish UFO researchers. The Umites distributed detailed information on technology and revolutionary theories that would expand scientific knowledge at that time. Some of these technologies did manifest as disc technology, virtual reality, the internet, and quantum computing. They ended up leaving our planet due to the uncertainty of the nuclear war starting here on Earth. What's really cool, you guys, is they actually left a statement explaining why they left, and they gave it to those researchers that they were working with. And in summary, that statement stated, "We have studied your science, culture, and history. With sadness that you employ your sciences primarily for war and destruction on your own selves, which continues as your primary objective. You are like children playing with dangerous toys that will destroy you." I just have to say, they are totally calling us out. They're calling us out! They continue to say, "We can do nothing. A cosmic law states each world must take its own path to survive or perish." The Umites' appearance is mostly Scandinavian. So they have light skin, lighter hair, they tend to be tall, and similar to the Nordics. And I just want to say that on a side note, I forgot to mention what their craft looks like. So they operate a round sphere-shaped craft, and the Umites, obviously, they don't have any Starseed traits because they're actually, in fact, humans. They also seem to have some special connection with the Spanish civilization. So if ever you go and visit Spain, look around. See if you see any Scandinavian or Nordic type beings. They could be Umites. So my friends, that's it for this chapter. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.